Welcome to part 26 on the Sigma makeover. And makeover, I'm going to call it a refurbishment because makeover is a silly word. It's sort of more getting some down on his luck overweight guy and giving him a shave and doing his hair and buying him a new set of clothes. So yeah, it's more a refurbishment. We're nearly finished. I got a lot of comments saying, can you please do the small bits as we go toward the roadworthy process. So that's what this is about. And I'll do another one as well. I've thought about it because there's going to be, how do I put it? Okay, it might be a month before the final one's ready because I've got to book it in for the roadworthy, and if he finds anything I've got to repair, it might mean ordering parts, putting them in, rebooking for roadworthy. You've got to fill out a vehicle eligibility form from Vic Roads, send that to the club, get it rubber stamped, and then shoot the video. Or part of the video, the bit where we're driving it, and we offer some critique and how it's all gone and the pros and cons and all that stuff. So that could be a month away. So what I'll do is I've got this one, which is small stuff, and I'll do another one, which will be the final of when it's finished. And that's where we put the wheels on and start the engine, basically. And sort out one or two little bits and pieces. I'm having trouble with the wipers. That's the only real issue I've got at the moment, and even then I'll go and see the guru himself, Alex, and see what he says, because it'll be something I've done because they worked fine before. So yeah, there's just a bits and pieces like that. So I think, what else do I need to say? Right, so it could be a month away, which means I'll do this one, or this one's coming out now, and then the next one, and I might do a computer video in the meantime, just so there's some content to upload. Then the final of the Sigma. After that, I want to finish the 750 Honda, but I'm forgetting the engine on the 350. Got to get that done. So I might get the engine done on the 350 first. And that's pretty much all I have to say. The other thing is I won't be able to do any work on the car through the week because I'm behind with work, and I've got end of semester stuff, reporting and comments and all sorts of stuff to do for that. So that's going to keep me very busy. But I am chuffed with the amount of responses, all the comments I got regarding, yeah, we want to see the small stuff as well. And it's quite true. Somebody left a comment to the effect of no one shows that stuff, and quite often that can be the that can be the stuff that slows you down. So originally when I bought this car, I had in my head 10 to 15 videos of length, but the problem with that was I went overboard, as you know. I decided to kick the screens out and cut the rust out. Even though you couldn't see it, I thought there might be rust there and saw evidence here and there. That slowed me down. That was another couple of videos. Then I got carried away painting the thing, and there's issues with the paint where we put the ISO-free 2-pack. It's argued with the paint that I put on, and that was a pain in the neck. And then I decided to fit power steering, and then I decided this, and I decided that, and it's blown out to, it's going to be a 28 video gig by the time it's finished. So this is 26. But I'll tell you this, it is hands down the easiest car that I've worked on, really. It's been an absolute dream, a pleasure. So I'd recommend this sort of thing to anyone who wants to get into car resto stuff, or fiddling and farting around with the car. It's easier than the little Starlet, not so much in the way the car's constructed, because the Starlet's basic, but there's no SRS and there's no airbags, and there's no SRS, sorry, there's no fuel injection or anything like that. It's just really, really basic stuff. So anyway, look, this is number 26. Hope you enjoy, and leave comments, please, and that way I'll know exactly what to include in the next one. Thanks. Okay, where do we leave off? Door trims. This is the worst of them, it's the driver's one. The inner belt's a bit knackered. The things come apart. Now we can use contact adhesive and stick that down again. I might use some small staples around there because they were sort of frayed out a bit, as you could see them fit in the car. They're damaged. Somebody's run large screws, or had a plaster screw in it, I think, holding it in. And the holes for the speakers are just chewed out. Now the speakers I've got are dirt cheap replacements. They're dual cone. I used the 3-way in the back, which, it's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter much. It's not a great sound system. These will do $35, I think, including delivery. 150 watts, which is BS. That's just peak to peak. So you'll probably find, or peak power if you like, so I can handle that for a millisecond. I think the normal running wattage is going to be around 30 or something like that. But they'll do, they'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. Putting them in, they're obviously the wrong way around there, isn't going to work because these holes are square. So what we're going to do is we're going to mount them like that on some better real estate in these areas here. We can do that because these grills, if I can pull that out, if you can imagine that's on the other side, they'll fit there, and then we can get that level by doing like that. Not sure I want that. Well, that has got some glue there. I was hoping it had some double-sided tape and we could just flick that out. On the other side, it is filthy, particularly around the grab rails, and this is stuffed. I'm just wondering how much of that is going to be hidden. I think it's going to be alright. We're going to get away with it. It's threadbare there, but I don't think it matters, really. Just a matter of cleaning up in here. The other thing is this had it's dirty along the top. The door escutcheon was broken, so I'll need another one. That had a whole lot of tissues and bits of paper screwed up to sort of shoehorn it in. It does go in. I'm wondering if a bit of it easier on the back. Don't know. I need to look at that and consider it a bit more. So they're okay, but not great. I think the first order of business is clean it up a bit, because like it's just got all this nonsense all the time. This is the hardest one. The others are in a bit better shape. We'll start with some kitchen cleaner. Interestingly with this car, I cleaned up the armrests and they're absolutely perfect. In fact, at 30, how old is this car? 38 years old. They could pass as new old stock. It's beyond me how good they are, how well preserved. And they're all like that. This is the worst of them. No, that's not the worst. Then one of them's got a stain in it. But yeah, there. But the actual grain in the vinyl is perfect. These things, I mean, this is 1981, and these was produced in these were also produced back to 1977. And they used to use a lot of things in plastics back then, formaldehyde and stuff like this, and that's why a lot of old cars have sort of an old car smell to them when they're off gas over the years. These are incredible. They're soft, but they haven't. They're not damaged at all. Now, if you compare them to VB to VL Commodores, they have an extension up here, and they get really soft and squidgy. And very soon after the car's been new, 3 years or 4 years later, they would fail. It's just incredible. And they're also, the Ford ones tend to shrink back, and you have your mounting pad, and they come apart, like they not come apart, but they round off at the edges as they shrink back. These haven't done that. So here in Oz, we had the wherewithal to make absolutely perfect cars with the materials we had, but if you made one car out of all the good points of the others, you would have a cracking unit, but it didn't work like that. So let's let that soak a bit. Freaking disgusting. Pretty awful. I might get a nail brush and hit it with a nail brush. That'll come off. The colour's damaged a bit, but it's not too bad. I'm doing it on a rickety plastic table, but that's what happens when you max your garage out with every square inch of room. Good nail brush is really worth having around, because I think Mum bought this when I was a kid. It was in the bathroom for years. Well, that's all I used with some Morning Fresh dishwashing liquid to clean the armrests. And it took 15 minutes to do all of them, I reckon. It was nothing. And sort of go across it like that to try and get into that grain. Remember what we were saying about being dodgy? This is old adhesive that's knackered. I threw a bit of turps in it to try and revitalise it enough to brush it on. But with this, I mean, all I'll do is wrap it in a shopping bag and stick it in the fridge, and that'll give me a full day out of it, then I can just throw it out. On the other side, oh, probably too close, but on the other side there's that great big bead around the carpet, so we can't really do that to get that wrong. So there we go, all secured. And anybody who watches Jason Hill's channel will have a very clear idea in their head why he's an upholsterer and I'm not. But at the end of the day, it's going to hold. And it's wrapped around there nice and tightly. It's not going to fray out. We're good. It might be better if we use the speaker itself, because then I can get a good look around it as to where it's going to be stable. Be extra careful when you're drilling this sort of stuff too, because it'll pick up the pile in the carpet. I've got my hand on the other side, straight in and out, and you can see it pulls pile out. This is not very 1981, but it is the easiest way to get around the problem, because I can't match the carpet. See that bit of thread there? That's what I was talking about. I took this locker scutcheon off one of the back door trims, so I put it on here because it's going to get used a lot more. I don't like that. The badge is crap. I wonder if I can lift that off. No, I'll do it later. Anyway, that will fit. It's an interference fit, and all things, you know, said. It doesn't look too bad. This lock thing here, and that's it from the back, and you can see how messed up the corners are. This little guy clicks in like that, and I don't think that'll give us any more grief. That should be alright. So I'm going to put that on that angle. Oh, that's dirty there. I didn't see that. That's filthy. Anyway, let's just see how she works. Much better. That vibration's that door. Stripes of shit. Gotta fix those too. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's cool. We're still at it. Look, we got door trims in. Carpet's nice and faded, but that doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that. This one's in better nick. Doing the wiring now, and I can't find the plastic for that door at the back, the left-hand rear, so I'll just have to sort of make something up. All going well. Just adjusted the brake switch. Best way to do it without anything connected, but this actually broke the wire up on the switch itself. Can we get a clear shot? I had to resolder the wires up there, so I'll just do up that little lock nut, and I think we're at it. Rightio, tyres and wheels. This is the spare. This is one I cleaned up. It's okay. And of course these tyres need to be disposed of, and as well as the front ones, but I haven't jacked the front up yet. So what I'm going to do is take this tyre off and stick it on this rim here. This is the one I'm using as a spare wheel. It's the one which has the sort of damage on the part of the rim there. So I'm just going around with a white brush, drill, and just smoothing out that surface so our tubeless tyre doesn't leak. Now what I've done, let's see if this works out. We'll come back. That'll be alright. Anyway, what I've done is the other ones, this is reasonably clean, believe it or not. It looks terrible, but with the other ones that were black, I shot a whole lot of degreaser on, scrubbed them, hit them with a high pressure washer, and all this black water came out, and they were still black. So I've just taken the 4 of them. One had paint on it, and the other 3 were sort of raw, and I sort of wet sanded and got some Scotch-Brite and went around, and I just wasn't happy with it. They look terrible. So back to the Hydro Blaster with those. So I'll pick them up tomorrow, and then we can have the wheels put on, or the tyre, sorry, put on, and then I've got the wheels all ready, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to polish them at this stage. All I want to do is get the car roadworthy. So I'll continue with this. I'll put the spare on, that gets that out of the way. Those 2 tyres I'm taking off there, I'll wait till I've got the fronts off, and then the bloke that sold me the new tyres said I can drop the old ones off there, and that's a good result. Right, we're all done. Stuck that tyre on there. That's the best of the ones I had, and gave them a bounce, and that can go in the boot just like that. I'm not going to bother cleaning it up anymore. These ones, in some ways I prefer these. There's more detail, more going on. It's winter now, so I'm not going to bother painting them yet, but in the spring I might paint them and clear coat them. They look really good with the proper stainless rings. They didn't use a chrome ring, they were a sort of squared off stainless one. They're pretty hard to get, but I've also got those lovely centres from a very generous chap who donated them. So these are not for sale, they will be reused. I lost one of my shifters, and it was outside, sort of in semi-shade, and it's all rusted solid. This is just a vinegar thing, fresh water and half vinegar. $1.20 for a litre, 2 litres I think, or something like that. Very, very cheap. So this is what I did on the XC Falcon brake calipers. Very effective way of getting rid of rust if you're not in a hurry. Right, got the wheels back from hydroblasting and they look absolutely amazing. We can still clean them up a bit further with just warm soapy water. I don't think there's any point in doing anything more with them. Well, got our nuts to go on, 16 of them, and I've got to clean up those little hub things. I forgot to give them to the plaster. Now everything's cool except this guy here. They don't fit. And so what I'm thinking here, these three here are Sigma, and the one in the spare wheel is as well, the boot for the spare is, this must be Scorpion. And they have different markings on the inside, and these don't go in. They're about 1 millimetre too broad, so the nut's going to be different. I did try and punch them out. I can put them in a lathe and run a boring bar through and just take them out about 0.5 mil, but I can't get them out. So they're probably even cast in there, I'm not sure. They could be fluted on the outside or anything, I'm not certain about that. So what it means, we're going to try and drill them. So they are different. There is about 1/8 of an inch of offset difference too. I think it's less than ideal, but it's going to end up being okay because the original bushes that would have contributed to bad handling more than what that minor difference is. I think it just means we're going to have to do these in the spring or the summer, but for now we'll stick with the alloys. And yeah, go about running a 16mm drill bit through there. Hopefully they don't catch and cause issues, but that's about all I can do for now. Okay, odds and ends to fix our little Siggy up and finish it off. The rear bushes we know about, I keep banging on about those. I've just ordered another set through Burson. They're going to get here on Tuesday. I know they're going to get here. I'm not worried. I don't have to worry about the other mob. This is rubbish. The old ashtray had this screw, which is nice and long. It goes up into there. Wouldn't it be great if all these repairs were this easy? Uncoordinated, eh? Oh, there we go. That will stop it banging around, and it's another thing that I can mark off the list. Right, let's see if that improves life for our little Siggy. Oh, look at that. It just looks even more out there now. Bugger, what's the story with that? Oh, anyway, who cares? I'm going to take this off. I'm going to change one of the clamps on the heater because it's a cheap one. I want to put a proper Trident one in, straighten out that underlay and find the hole for the bracket under there, and we can call that done. Rightio, so I can't straighten that up anymore. I've got the screw up there, and I've changed that clamp there for a Trident one. It had this cheap and nasty horrible thing on. I've just sort of pulled it off and I'll bin it. So the parcel tray is all secure and that's all good. So I think we'll get into that rear door trim now. I've got to clean up these jams too. I never got around to doing that. Okay, rear door trim. We've fixed up around here where it was coming apart. The escutcheon, I'll have to just come up with something for that. And the doorbell's a bit knackered, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I just need to make a plastic for it because we can't put it on without it. Here's some old plastic. It's not an exacting science. I'm just going to mark around it. So the armrest on the Sigma was missing one of these. The previous owner stuck a great big wood screw in. Now these are the XC ones which I haven't used yet because Jason did the door cards and I've still got to do a whole lot of other stuff. Now the fronts have got 3 each, that's 6. We've got packs of them, so I might stick one of those in. They're actually a bit broader and one of them is spinning and that's probably the one he put the wood screw in, so I might just swap that over. Both of these are a little bit dodgy, so I'm just going to use the XC ones, or some Ford ones, which are a little bit broader, and they should save today. Oh, that's good. Because this one this must have been the one with the wood screw in it. That's better. Just make sure they don't interfere. I might stick some silicone lube in there. I've got to clean that off too, it looks terrible. Why I haven't bothered cleaning the jams yet, it's because I just never got around to it. They're filthy. I cleaned under there before I put those on, but I never bothered doing the rest of it, just because I was lazy and couldn't be bothered. But I figured I'll treat the car, make it look a bit nicer. That's not really working up there though. Yeah, so I've just stopped what I'm doing and doing a bit of this. This is why I won't do this job again as a profession, because I just want to stop and do something different for a bit, you know what I mean? I don't want to get bored doing one or two small things. I'd sooner just nut it out as I go, and you know, just clean things up, paint things, wire things, rebuild things. Just when the mood takes me. Which is, when it's a hobby, you can do that. You know, when you're doing it for a job, you're on the clock. You're not doing anything like that. It's shaping up quite nicely. I'm quite happy with how it's all going. So, there we go. Absolutely lovely. Stupid me. Never ever told anybody I was intelligent. I don't know why I didn't clean these jams while the car was a shell with a high pressure cleaner, because I've got everything here. Got a dirty mark on the carpet, but we can get that out. But I am pretty convinced that that's all good. Same on this side, bit of wrinkly on the seats, we know about that. That's all looking fairly good, fairly swish. Poor Annie, she's blind. And she can't see, she navigates along the wall. Yeah, not a big fan of this guy. Let's see, she's got a brain tumour, optic nerves all gone. But she still wags this tail, you see, and we thought she'd die about 18 months ago, but she's still here on special medication. But she's a very special girl. Yeah, I suppose you are too. You're just a bit sneaky. And a bit cunning for my liking, but anyway. Let's get back onto this, because I like this. A few things on reflection. We've got to get a hood for the instruments, we know about that. We're not happy with that. Console's going to have to be painted, just bits and pieces like that, but you know what, I can't even be bothered. I reckon we just leave it. And I'm even going off the idea of repainting the front and the back, even though it doesn't match properly. Right, so I think the next thing we got to do is crack out the soldering iron, wire this up. Another view of the back. Oh yes, look at that. It looks lovely, it's got such retro appeal. Right, so we'll do that. And then I need to plumb up the heater, finish the wiring in the engine bay, finish the battery wiring, I got a bit of it in. I just wanted to clean these contacts here. That's the main power feed. That's a fusible link in there. I've got to put the earth on too, and the starter one doesn't reach. This had a aftermarket starter relay in it, which I should put back, but I'm just going to fudge it and stick that on and see what happens. So I've got to plumb the washers, and yeah, plumb the washers. I've got the hose for that, and put the bottle in, plug the pump in. And once we've done that little lot, we will stick voltage in it and see if bits and pieces are working. I think from memory the high beam relay was knackered too. I forgot about that. That's that bloke there. And the red one at the wrecker, I wanted to grab one, but they squashed it before I could get there. But I think it's time to stick voltage through it. We'll put coolant in, let that sit. We'll put engine oil in, and power steering fluid, or the tranny fluid. We'll leave the air cleaner off for the first start, because I want to have a good look around the carburetor, make sure there's no leaks. I've had everything apart on that. What's in the boot? Let's have a look in the boot. Right, that's the cold air intake little bug shield thing. That can go back on. That's for the fuel tank. We'll do that once we've done the bushes. Got to clean that guy up, and this looks to be in better shape than the one that's on the engine now, so we might clean that up too. Yeah, we better clean up around here, it's pretty gross. A few landmines around, there's another one there. Nice. Okay, so I've had to take this cover off. That was a delay circuit we did. Just got to pop this guy back. I didn't have it in properly. And we're not using the taillight circuit, so this is just for the seatbelt warning. That should be good. And then we can pop that back in. And it just sort of clips in down like that. That looks wrong. Ah, it is wrong. Hang on. There we go. And we just pop that cover on. That all looks pretty kosher in there. So we'll just put this back on and tie it up, and there's an earth there. So the only thing I'm not sure about, that I can't remember, that one's switched positive, which I'll tap into the fuse box, but I want to get some power there first. I've soldered the speaker wires together, so I'll tape them up and sort of clip them out the way. And it's just these, which were the original interior light, that go into a loom behind there. Well, I suppose now is not a bad time to stick a bit of voltage in here. There's some battery leads on the earth and all that sort of stuff. The other thing I haven't connected is the temp sender. I want to get the proper terminal for that soldered on so it can slip over that. The wiper washers on in, I should probably put them in, but I just want to stick some voltage in and check some lights and stuff like that. So, this is the MG's battery, but it'll do for now. I suppose the first thing is just stick a terminal on and just brush it and see if it makes sparks. Nope, nothing there. See if we've got lights and stuff, I guess. Probably a bit dim, are they? Yeah, oh, they're a bit dim. The battery's a bit down. Parkers are there. I might have to charge that battery again. Have I got hazards? Okay, we've got something going on there. Yeah, we've got hazards, which means the indicators are working. And that stripe's rubbish, I've got to take that off again. I just think our battery's a bit sad. Okay, we've got a light out there. Oh yeah, we've got the number plates. Okay, this is where I get nervous because I'm going to stick some juice in here. Wipers are on. Okay, the wipers aren't self-parking, so we've got a problem with that. Heater fan works. Reader mister's not doing anything. That. Oh yeah, no, that's back. Harvey warned me about that. Okay, so the wipers are doing something. They should be doing. Could be a back feed, not sure. It's disconcerting. Park brake. That's working. That's cool. Right, so our wiper relay is making noises, and I've got that unplugged. So there's a problem with that. That could be anything. We'll figure that bit out. Yeah, dash lights are working. That looks bloody good. Just a moment. All the speakers are working.
وقت بخیر شنوندگان گرامی شما به برنامه اسپیس فارسی گوش میکنید و
What station?
Bought and strangled every single noble.
The radio's working really well. That's working really well. Fans working. Horn? Yeah. Well, it all seems to be working, except what I've done up here. Oh, hang on. Yep, that's working. The interior light one isn't, though. And that makes sense, too, because we've not got that light up there, which will light up turbo. So, interior lights and reverse lights aren't working. Did I plug those in? Hang on, we'll just try that. Let's have a look. I might not have had it in properly. No, we've got no reverse light, so we need to look at that as well. And the rear demist. And I checked that switch. I know that switch works, but we're not getting power there, so that could be fuse related. We'll have a look. So I can put all this back together. I've just tacked that on the back there of a what's that? The turn signals and reverse lights. Turn signals are working, reverse lights aren't, but that will be. I'll test that in a minute. That's going to be the what's it called? The switch on the gearbox, I think. That is so great. Right, so what are we going to do? We're going to have a look at the. That's going to be a pain in the ass. That means we're going to take all this off again to get to the rear demister, which is a huge pain. Cigarette lighter's getting warm too, so that's all working. Yep, she's warm. What about the interior light behind there? Yes, I can see light behind there. And the light dims on the clock. Cool. That's really, really awesome. I'm quite happy with that. I wonder what the heck is going on with that light. That interior light thing. What do you call it? The demister. The radio sounds bloody great. I don't know why it sounds so good. Is that light working there? Oh yeah, got the light in there. And I don't think there's one in the glove box, is there? No, it's not. Alright, that's cool. And that doesn't shake around either, which is bloody good. Right, so we've got, this is what we've got to do. Oh, hang on, just before we go any further. Cleo, knock it off. Let me just patch up that reverse light. Find it if it's a circuit. Or, where is it? It's that, crap, I didn't even plug it in. Oh, there, hang on, where is it? Oh, it's down here. I didn't plug it in like a dick, hang on. See if that works. Put him in reverse. We have reverse lights because Ando is a knob and didn't plug the thing in. So this is what we've got. These are the issues we've got. Okay. Let me just think about this. We've got a problem with the driver's courtesy light switch. No biggie. No one cares. Let's just go and check the others while we're at it. See if that turbo light comes on. Yes, it does, and so do they, which is wonderful. And that works too. Radio. So we've only got one dodgy light switch or door switch. We've got to check the washers. Can't put the washer bottle in yet. I'll tidy that up. That looks manky. The only issue we've got, the rear demister, which was working when I got the car, and the wiper. I wonder if that's been dropped or whatever. That could be a back feed. It could be an earth problem. I've checked continuity between the motor housing and the body, which is good. That's a little lead there, so that's all good. You need to look at that because we need wipers. It's very much a roadworthy thing. And I've got to change the light, the globe, pardon me, in this one here. I didn't check the indicators individually. Yep, that's all good. That's all wonderful. Really, really happy with that. If that's the only teething issue I've got, that's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I might as well get rid of that horrible thing and put that one on. That one doesn't have all that varnishy nonsense on it. Can you see it? So I think tomorrow I'm going to pack up for now because I've got to go and see my mother. She's in hospital. And I'll plumb this up and we'll continue in the morning. Right, well, I've taken these out. They fit. I had to buy a drill bit, which was $42, but I'm always looking for bigger drill bits. So I'm just going to chuck this on the car to make sure it all fits. I've only taken it out a millimetre, that's all it needed. So I'll just see how that goes. Alright. These actually are horrible wheels to put on because you can't see through where the studs are, and that's what I always look at when I'm fitting stuff like this. So they all look alright. And then once I've ascertained that this is all cool, then I can stick them in the car and get the wheels fitted on Tuesday. You can see how loose the back end is, but it's just perched up on stand and they're running really true. Excellent, that's great, that's a win. This is the one that came out, which is completely wrong. That's what they list, but the outer diameter's similar, but it's all, I think it's all wrong. See if this one fits any better. Perfect. So that's good, we can leave that there. Right, I'm just connecting this heater hose at the back. Now, I'm a massive critic of Celastic on engines. I don't like it at all. I'm putting it here because that union is damaged. Now, you need to make sure whatever you do, you're using a neutral cure Celastic so it doesn't smell of anything. And yeah, you don't want anything that smells of vinegar because that's the acetic cure stuff and it basically eats metal. The other thing I've done is I put it on the outside. So when I slip the hose on, it'll continue running down the outside and sort of gather at the bottom of that. It won't actually go in the union. So that's the only thing I'm using this for. So we'll just slip that over The other thing is, when I was at Toyota, there was a guy there who put a radiator hose on using Celastic, and it was on a diesel. Anyway, it blew off on a road test and cooked the engine. So you really do need to be very careful with this sort of thing. So I'm going to let it go off before it cool. You know, for this sort of thing, where our hose is, where the union, is really compromised, and I was worried about breaking the intake manifold where it's joined, and there was still considerable wall thickness there. I'm taking a punt and using it, and I hate the way this is. It's got so many blasted joins in it. Tie rods and tie rod ends. The one side, the driver's side, has this peculiar long one in it, so it doesn't use a sleeve like that. It uses part of the tie rod ends as the sleeve. Your two outers should be the same, which are these guys, and nice retro looking things. This one's missing a nipple. I don't think it was in the box. I'm going to have to find a nipple for it. So they've been unwrapped, but yeah, they come with nipples and split pins and all that sort of business. The usual stuff. You've seen this a gazillion times before, where you just count the threads coming out. So 1, 2, and so on and so forth. 3. Just a moment. So basically, we've got 19 1/4 turns and 8. So I'll do 13.5 at each instead of 19 and 8, and we'll get the length back that way. The other thing I forgot to do, which was really stupid, was I didn't measure the overall length. It's just another way to verify what you've got. 355. Write that down. But in the meantime, I might just dolly this up and give it a bit of a rattle can. Now, some of these don't look old. The problem was I left them in the trailer. That one there looks new, but I would think moisture's got in there. I haven't checked, but I left them in the trailer with all intentions of storing them properly, but I didn't, so I just figured I'd just get new ones. They're not very expensive anyway. Even the counting thing isn't that great, because I measured this at 14 1/4 turns in, which is what the other one was. This was coming up at 342, where the other one was 350. So I've just made it 350 long, and that can be taken up when it has its front end alignment. Right, I've taken the valves out of those. We'll get those tyres taken out tomorrow, and I'll do those after work. And store the rims. The tyre ends are done. Under there, all good. Now this side over here though, I couldn't finish because the thing came in an open pack, and I've left that one loose because I've got to get a nipple for it, and that way I can just undo that, swing it around, pack it, and then put it up and put a split pin in. But otherwise that's all done. That spells the end of the front end. Other teething issues. We open our doors and we have the interior lights. I fixed that switch down there. It had an earthing issue. Still haven't changed the globe in that up there. We've got the door indicator there. We've got that little light over there. I'll pull the globe out of that. That's just a funny thing. The indicators I've repaired. That one over there. So that's all good. But look at that wiper motor. Won't park. I've done something wrong. Now, I've even got the intermittent relay disconnected, and it won't stop. Now, the funny thing is, I'll just turn that off. I've even got the wiper switch disconnected under here. There's a couple of wires. I didn't know what that was, but that doesn't matter. Tuck that up. But that's the wiper switch. So what's happening is when we unplug this, we're getting a source of power to a couple of different pins for low and high, constant power, it earths through the body, and the other one goes off to the intermittent relay over there. But this thing isn't parking, so the problem is in here. I've done something wrong, so I've got to pull that apart. Put that in, plumbed up the wipers, or the washers. Looks bloody awful. I've got to tie that back. And just secure some of this. That connection there doesn't look too good. Somebody else did that. That would be for a wagon, that one there. Haven't got the right hose. That looks bloody awful, but I think once we sort of tuck it up and out of the way, it's all pretty good. So it's just tidying up stuff to do, really. And figuring out that thing. I'll just get a meter and I'll have a look and see if I've got power for the rear demister, because I haven't got the light there. Right, so I put coolant in, just the glycol bit that needs topping up, and engine oil, we've got that full, just restraining these cable ties and just flicking it around just behind so you can't see the end of them. It always looks a little bit tidier. I might tie that as well. Hello, Suze. Oh, the weather's gone a bit belly up. Sort of slows us down a bit, particularly when we're doing a car outside. We've got to weed this garden. It looks terrible. This thing, I wish I didn't hack it off because I need to reuse the upper axle plate. But for now, we need to patch it up and get it ready to put back on the car. Might as well start cleaning up some of these. That will clean up quite well. That'll look good. These are just stainless trims for the side. Maybe run a bit of polish on them and stick them back on the car because that's where they belong. I was never ever going to be happy having a demister that worked originally and didn't work since I touched the car. They're sort of dug in behind here. I don't think it's right with the item. The front demister has to work, but the rear one doesn't. But you've got all these wiring looms and everything sort of intertwined. You've got to take those out. So I'll just get in there and do it. I'm not going to spend any time filming it, I just want to get it done. It just occurred to me, I never checked the switch, I checked the light. So let's stick continuity there. Nothing. Switch is rooted. Back together. That light there is where the old door light was, and that's where they put the turbo light for the boosted cars. That globe I'll pull out. That's redundant anyway because we've got the door light there. Let's try this stuff. Hang on. What do we got? Yeah, we got lights. Whoops. Have we got the one down under there? Oh, we have. Look at this. Ta-da! Yep, that's cool. Ashtray light. Sticker light is there, which is cool. Oh, how about some ignition? Whoops. Oh, look at that. That's what we're pitching for. The radio's still working. That works. Oh, on the fan. Sweet, we're done with that. That's cool. We can go into something else. Right, so we're full of oil, full of coolant. We've got a nice, beautiful leak. Look at that. It's worse than it was before too. Alright. That's not going to be too hard to fix, I don't think. It's just the gasket for the thermostat. So I'll just let the level go down a bit and we'll get into that. As long as it's not leaking inside the car, I don't really care. So while we wait for our coolant to leak out, we'll just put some transmission fluid in. For the power steering, it's weird having a signal with power steering. I've just never seen one. But it's good. It's just in a crap place because if you overfill it, it's going to make a mess and I don't want to do that. Coolant's easy, you can just hose it off, but this is a pain. I'll just give that a helping hand with the drain cock down there. Oops. There we go, that'll be stabilised and we can find out what I screwed up when I put that on. Stupid's this. A real rookie mistake. I had the gasket across there, it wasn't sort of in that rebate properly. So I must have moved as I put it in. I might just take a little bit more coolant out just so I can get the level where I can work on it. That's such a stupid mistake. Like, I don't think I've ever done that before. If I have, it would have been a long, long time ago. Alright, that'll do. Alright, we'll get this fixed and we'll refill it and the problem will be gone. I see those stupid birds are back. Let's just have another go at putting some coolant in here. This is just water. The glycol's already in there, and we're going to know pretty quickly if that is going to leak, and I reckon we're fixed it. So that all looks good. It's wet now because I hosed off the glycol. I kind of regret that because now it's all going to have watermarks all through it, but it doesn't matter, it's a car, it's supposed to not be perfect. Right, so what we've got to do now is really take stock and have a look what we've done and look what we need to do. So we'll call it quits for this one. Let's put the cap on and really have a look at what we've got to do. Right here. So under here, I can see that grommet has popped out, so I've got to do something with that. Right, the power steering's full, radiator, the engine, we're good. But we don't have, we've got that grommet down there. And the, what have we got here? That's the starter, one for the starter motor. And I'm in two minds whether to put a relay back in, sort of up next to the battery up here. I might, because I had one before, but it was an aftermarket type jobby. And we also need to, oh, the temperature sender. Replace that terminal. I haven't got around to that yet. Otherwise, that's all finished. Now, front brakes and suspension is all finished. Except I've been looking high and low for a nipple for here, but I haven't got that yet. So I'll do that tomorrow. The lower trims are on. They're not mint, but they're not bad. They're a bit of a, not a pain, but they were just really dirty with all that tar stuff that guy put on. So there you go. That's all done. Inside, the only thing that needs doing is the globe up here. Got to take the mirror off. It's not a roadworthy thing. I'm not going to bother for now. All the circuitry is working. Everything's doing what it's supposed to do, so I'm super stoked with that, and I'm really glad I did that heated rear window thing. I need a knob for the radio because the other one was glued on with liquid nails. So we'll figure that out. Whatever the case, it's roadworthy. That door escutcheon, lock escutcheon's come up, so I have to do something with that. Oh, that reminds me. I don't think I got around to fixing this. No, I didn't screw that on. I've got to screw that back on too. Right, so I'll do that. I'm not going to film that, just a couple of screws. And so the only things left are the rear suspension. Rear bushes get here tomorrow, so you can bang ahead and sweep out under that car and get the rear suspension back together. And then we can start it. I've got to take those in, take the tyres off and dispose of them. I've got another two under the house from that car. And we have our lovely Mitsubishi wheels in the back of our lovely Commodore to go and get the rubber fitted tomorrow. I've got to talk to the auto elect guru, Al, from Seville about this. See if he can shed some light. I'm a little bit baffled with that. I need to do these too. Got to repaint these wiper arms, just rub them back and give them a satin black finish. Got these twin refill things, I always thought they were terrible. The plastic back ones, I like the steel back ones. So we'll chuck those away and get some new blades, and that's the last thing. Rear muffler with blue overspray. Let's have a look and see how our repair stacked up for longevity. This is the interesting bit. It was buffeting, if you remember, when it was running last. Oh yeah. Quite a good solid bit of repair work. Alright, so what are we going to do with this? It is munted, as people seem to like me saying. But anyway, we'll chuck that in the bin. And we'll do a quick repair to get us to the road, to the exhaust place and the front end alignment shop. See if we can get the lid off. Hasn't even been washed. This is of a jumper I was wearing, I think, in the last video, but I got sick of looking like a homeless person. Good old Celastic. It's great for this sort of stuff. Being dodgy. Dodgy's fun. I'm getting more dodgy in my videos, have you noticed? Right. Put your laughing gear around this, guys. Just pull straight out. Good, well I'll drill these and stick some rivets around it and she will be right. I'll tell you now. What do you think? Beautiful. That'll do. It's all good. So anyway, look, that's it for this. I'm not going to do any more today, but we're really, really super close to finishing it. So on that note, I'll say thanks very much for watching. Enjoy Classic, and I'll see you around.